Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing my September reading wrap-up. Thankfully I had a bit of a reading slump during September, so maybe I can avoid the train wreck that happened in the previous reading wrap-up video. In September I only read 3 things. The first thing that I read in September was Lethal White by Robert Galbraith, also J.K. Rowling. It's actually this book right here, but because there's a whole ton of like decorations for Thanksgiving right here, I'm not gonna mess with that. This is the 4th book in a series. This is the Cormoran Strike series. First book is The Cuckoo's Calling, and then it just follows from there. Because this is the 4th book in a series, and all these books are like this thick in typical J.K. Rowling fashion, a lot happens up to book 4, so I can't really even talk about the story. This is a mystery series, and so in each book there's a separate mystery. In this book, there's a supposed suicide in a very affluent family, and half the family, they don't believe that this person committed suicide. The person that commits suicide is actually a government official that originally hires Cormoran Strike for something else. This government guy is actually being blackmailed by somebody, and Cormoran was originally investigating that. And when the government guy commits suicide, everybody in his family was like, no, he obviously didn't commit suicide. It has to do with something with the blackmailing. So Cormoran and Robin investigate that. The mystery itself is pretty dry. At this point, I'm really reading it for Cormoran and Robin. I really want them to get together so bad. They're both involved with other people, and it actually really makes sense for them story-wise to never get together. But there's so much sexual tension, it's like slowly killing me inside. So at this point, I'm really reading it for them. The mysteries are okay. As a mystery, you can read this as a standalone. However, I wouldn't necessarily recommend that, especially if you want to know everything that's happening between Cormoran and Robin, like personally. But in regards to the like personal lives of these characters, a lot happened, and it like made me scream a couple of times. And because I really enjoyed that, I actually ended up rating this 4 out of 5 stars on Goodreads. Mystery was okay, but I'm here for the personal drama and for the tea. Next thing that I read in September is Going Into Town, A Love Letter to New York by Roz Chast. This is a graphic novel. I love Roz Chast. I recently, a couple months ago, I read Can We Talk About Something More Pleasant by Roz Chast. That was a graphic novel memoir about her relationship with her parents, and I just found that so moving and so lovely that as soon as I saw that this was by her, I had to pick this up and I had to read this. It was just Roz Chast talking about her love for New York City. Her daughter was moving to New York, and so she wanted to give her pointers to being a genuine New Yorker without all the touristy stuff involved. I found it to be absolutely charming, and Roz Chast's love for New York City was evident in every page. And actually, I found this to be a really helpful intro to New York City if you've never been. I kind of wish I read this first before ever visiting New York City. I love this so much that I actually rated this a full 5 stars. And the last thing that I read for September is A Man Called Uwe by Fredrik Backman. I actually listened to this as an audiobook. I love Fredrik Backman's style of writing. He's known to write sad books, and I love sad books. It's one of my guilty pleasures. Like, I love a good cry at the end of a book. As soon as someone says, yeah, I cried at the end, I'm like, title please, author, let me know where to find this. And in typical Fredrik Backman fashion, this was a sad book. It was like very sweet and wonderful, and it definitely made me tear up. Like, the overall story of this is about a man called Uwe. Spoilers. His wife had passed on a while ago, and so he is living by himself. And he is just so grumpy and just so unhappy that throughout the book, he actually attempts to take his life. So that's a trigger warning for people. If reading about suicide is too much for you, I would recommend that you avoid this book, because this happens quite a bit throughout the novel. And after each attempt, something goes wrong to where he doesn't actually go through with it. And you just see him develop as a character from someone who's incredibly unhappy to finding happiness in life again. I actually didn't like Uwe at first. He was a lot to handle. Like, my favorite trope is grumpy old man, but this was almost too much at first. And I was worried that I wasn't going to like this because I really didn't like Uwe. But slowly and surely, I don't know how it happened, but I went from really disliking Uwe to like willing to die for Uwe. Well, that's alright, I'm over exaggerating, but you know what I mean. Like, I loved Uwe by the end. And Frederick Bachman had wrote him such a way that it completely caught me off guard, and it was awesome. I loved that realization I had and was like, oh, he's a jerk too. Wait, I actually like him. Like I said, the story was just absolutely lovely. I laughed, I cried. Again, this was a book that I had to rate a full 5 stars on Goodreads. Not only was there suicide in the book, but other trigger warnings include homophobia and abuse. So again, just keep that in mind before you get into this book. So that was everything that I read for September. Quick, easy, and less of a train wreck than August. So personal growth for me. Have you read any of these? Please feel free to talk about them down in the comments below. Just avoid spoilers. Like for Lethal White, y'all. If you are stressing as much as I am about Corbin and Robin, let me know. I need to know that I'm not alone in going down in this ship. As always, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I guess it's ta-ta for now. Bye, guys.